Why don't you give me a sign, like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in, I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Hey!
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good.
Great. I'm honoured to speak to you today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to the interview. How did the Oliviers go? I was filming with Andy.
Oh, it was great. It was just it was a weird time for us because obviously we were in like rehearsals and we were about to travel to, or we were in the middle of tech for obviously the show, and we were about to open on the Monday, so we were all exhausted, and we hadn't performed any of the show in front of anybody. But that said, it was an amazing kind of electrifying way to kick off our show, which was brilliant. So, and it looks great. I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. I'm so glad that I'm so glad that theatre's back, because me and my partner like to go to the theatre. Last thing we went to was Cursed Child.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's nice that things are up and running again. I mean, I think that was the nice thing about the Oliviers, is that there was lots of different shows there all together, and we could all see each other backstage and actually hug people and say hello, and we weren't all separated, and that was really nice. And now to be in Bristol with this, new show and packed houses, and it's so lovely, so lovely.
It is, absolutely. So, if we go back to the beginning, what was there a defining moment for you to get into the industry?
Not really. I mean, I grew up in like a small village in the middle of Suffolk, and just went to a local dance school, really, and loved it. From the age of probably maybe three or four, I think I was, one of those kids put into dance classes, and I just kind of never left. And I think I just had that passion for it right through my childhood. And as I got older, the passion just grew bigger, and it was just kind of never really a question that I wasn't going to do it. I just didn't know which my route would be in. And drama school seemed to be an option and a way in. So I kind of followed that. And I think then, musicals and music came a bit later for me, because of circumstance. But I don't think there was a particular moment. It was just how it was going to go.
Right. Okay. So it's more like, so it's kind of like a calling then.
Well, I mean, some people say, you're born to do something, and you are born with a passion. And I kind of do believe that, because I think over the years, especially getting older, and I've gone back to young people and done various workshops, and I kind of say to them, what do you love? What do you want to do? And lots of people don't know. Some people do. Some people it's really clear. And some people don't know. And that's okay. And they find it later on in life. But I always knew. So whether that was my calling or not. And I still know, I still have that drive and that passion, and those days when it's difficult, I still have that going out to get it. I just love it. I really do love it.
Well, the industry is all the better for it. So why did you want to get involved with Queen Machine Symphonic Tour?
Yeah, so the guys came to me probably about 3 years ago now. I can't believe I'm saying that. And they invited me over to, I can't even remember where I went. I went somewhere in Europe to watch them live, because they're huge in Europe. They tour all over. They play stadiums in Europe, and they're massive. And they invited me over to a festival that they were playing, and to go and watch them. And I did. I met them. I went and watched them, and they blew my mind. They really did. They weren't, I think what it was about them was that they just were, again, they had a passion for Queen, and they had this kind of electricity on the stage that just celebrated Queen music. And you could see the audience celebrating in the same way. And I just loved it. I loved that kind of passion and that excitement. And when they asked me to join the show, I know they've been touring Europe really successfully, and I know they wanted to bring a show to the UK, which was going to be a little tricky, because obviously we are the home of Queen. And I think to bring a show like that, you need to give it a bit of something else, give it a bit of its own unique selling point. So I think that's why they invited me along. They thought maybe I could add a little something to the show. And also we have a small orchestra that is going to tour with us, who are absolutely brilliant. And I think just the elements of all of us together was going to bring something a little bit unique and a bit different. We started out, we did a little a tryout of the show in Scarborough over 2 years ago now. It was before the pandemic, when we tour the show the first time, and people loved it. It really is just keep saying it, but it's just a celebration of their music, and just adding that extra flavor that we can add. And it's just a really nice night out, really.
Is that what led to the collaboration with Brian May?
No, that was long before. So I met Brian back in 2002 when I did We Will Rock You. I did the show, I was in the original company of We Will Rock You, and I played the role of Meat. And then after the show finished, Brian and I started working in the studio on an album. And the first album we came out with we came out with an EP called Wicked in Rock. And then we later on completed the full album, which was Anthems. And then, carried on working together, touring, concerts, more albums. We kind of still work together now. I mean, it's been really difficult through the pandemic, obviously, but we started on some new music before the pandemic. So hopefully we'll get back in the studio at some point. Obviously he's doing his tour. I'm really busy at the moment, and hopefully we'll get to come back together and finish that music at some point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because he's a legend.
He's a ledge.
He's a legend. So how did your tap dancing debut go at the Olivier's?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little scary, because I hadn't put a pair of tap shoes on for over 25 years. The last time I wore a pair of tap shoes was when I was at college and I was training. So to put a pair of tap shoes on and tap in front of people was a little bit daunting. And added onto that was that it was going to be live on television at the Olivier Awards, the kind of the biggest theatrical event of the year, was a little daunting. And also, I don't do loads of musicals anymore, so it was a big thing to be back in a musical, tap dancing at the front of like 30 cast members who are brilliant, was quite nerve-wracking. However, it's such a wonderful company. It's a real amazing team of people that everyone's so supportive of each other. We're having a great time in Bristol at the moment, and we've got another 4 venues that we're touring, and then we go to the Barbican for, so I think it's 13 weeks, right through until September, before the Queen Symphonic run. So it's been joyous. I'm loving it. I'm just really enjoying it. And I also love that for me, it's all about variety and contrast. And I get to do this beautiful classic Cole Porter show, singing songs that we all know and love. You know, Anything Goes, I get a kick out of you, and all this kind of classic stuff. And then I get to jump straight into that kind of heavy theatrical Queen world and belt out some iconic Queen songs. So, you know, this is quite a fun year for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm a fan of Queen as well. I grew up listening to their music. It was one of my dad's staples.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think it does. It's one of those. They're that band that goes through the generations. And I was to say, my dad loved Queen, and it was on in our house, and I grew to just love it and know it. And I think now, like, my kids now love it because they hear and see it, and it's on all the Disney films. It's, you know, it's everywhere. It's on all the adverts. They're just iconic songs.
They are indeed. So who's been your biggest inspiration?
Well, Brian could be up there really, because Brian's been in my life for nearly 20 years now, and he's really kind of guided and mentored, and he's been a big influence over me and opened other doors that perhaps wouldn't have come my way if I'd have gone, religiously down the musical theatre route. He's kind of opened my eyes to rock music and finding myself as a performer. So he's been a massive contribute to my career and my journey. But growing up, I loved people like Liza Minnelli. I loved Bonnie Tyler. I loved Meatloaf. Celine Dion. You know, those big kind of singers, those big performer singers. So yeah, real eclectic mix.
Did you ever meet Meatloaf?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was so lucky and fortunate to meet him. I got taken to probably his last tour. Actually, I saw him at the O2 with Brian, and we watched the show. I took my dad. My dad's a big Meatloaf fan too, and we got to go and meet him afterwards, which is amazing. Really, really amazing.
He's another legend, and his legacy is going to live on.
The music. I mean, the music just it speaks volumes. It really does. Timeless.
Do you have any tips for aspiring musical theatre actors for auditioning?
Oh my God. You know, it never gets any easier, I can tell you that. I think knowing your craft, you know, knowing as much as you can, preparing as much as you can in the time that you have. You know, sometimes you get called up the night before and said, you've got to go here and sing this song or do that speech or whatever, or read that script. And I think that can be really tricky. But if you do have a little bit of time to prepare, you know as much as you can, so that when you do go into the room, you're dealing with what's going to happen on that day, as opposed to trying to memorize what you've been sent. I think it's about getting a flavor or getting a sense of the material, as opposed to being, you know, this perfect kind of version of yourself to go in that room. You know, give yourself a break and just be adaptable. If they ask you to do something, just have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So obviously you're very busy, but do you get to see any shows? And has anything caught your eye?
Not a lot at the moment, because I am. It's a bit chaotic at the moment, and since the pandemic, it's almost like we took the lid off and everybody's going crazy. So it has been a bit chaotic. But that said, the Olivier's was brilliant for that, because you got to see a snippet of all the great shows that were out there. I'd love to see Cabaret and Back to the Future and Moulin Rouge and Life of Pi. You know, seeing snippets of those shows just made me go, oh, I need to go to the theatre. But it's really difficult because obviously I'm working evenings at the moment and doing our own show. So maybe once the show finishes, I'll get out there and see some shows again.
Yeah, it's hoping. Is there a book that you're a fan of that hasn't been adapted to film or TV or musical theatre that hasn't been adapted yet, that you'd like to be a part of?
That's a great question. Apart from mine, you mean? A good book. Oh, that's brilliant. One of my favourite books, but I don't know how it would work on the stage, is The Beach. It was a book that kind of it made a real mark on me. I think there's certain books that stay with you, and that was one of them. As a kid, I loved the line "The Witch in the Wardrobe." That was just a staple favourite. But I think The Beach is probably one of my favourite books as an adult. But I'm not sure how that would work on stage. I mean, maybe it would. Maybe I just don't have the vision. Maybe that's why I'm not a director.
Well, I mean, they made Only Fools and Horses and Back to the Future work on musical theatre, so I'm sure they can.
They can have a go.
Yeah.
They can have a go, couldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, even SpiderMan had a run, but
it did.
Not for very long. Not for very long, unfortunately.
I think it's really difficult with those massive, iconic kind of Marvel things, though, because in a film you get so much. You can be so out there. In a theatre, it's slightly different. You know, you're going for the live element, and when those kind of superhero things are quite tricky.
Mm. Yeah, they are. With the spectacle, you've got to get the balance right and make sure that it's safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with the popularity of streaming services like Disney Plus, Netflix, and them obviously being the lifeblood of the industry for the last couple of years, while we were locked away in our houses, what do you think the future of cinema is?
You know, it's interesting you asked this because I've been talking about this a lot. At the moment, I'm working with lovely Bonnie Langford and Dennis Lawson, Simon Callow, actually. And we were talking about cinema the other day, about how cinema used to be a massive event. You know, there would be like almost a pre-show, and there would be characters walking around, and there would be almost like a mini performance before the showing. And I think that there's more. I know we're kind of going there with like the backyard cinemas and the experience cinemas where you get completely involved, you get dressed up, and I think there's more of that to come, because I think it should be more of an event. We're so instant at the moment. Everything we can pick up on our phone, we can get it in a click of a button. We can watch films at home. We can. You know, my kids get the if there's an advert on, because we're so quick with things. We don't have to wait. So I think it's almost like we need to make more of an event of something and make it special, make it something that you can't get at home. You can't click a button. You can't, don't get me wrong. I love sitting at home watching films. My whole family are big movie buffs. We love it. We love sitting at home as a family watching a film. But I think with cinemas, they need to be more of an event, or do the outdoor cinemas a bit more, because they're fantastic too.
Yeah, I was just at the backyard cinema presentation of The Great Sherman. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I think we need it. I think we're wanting that. We're wanting something different.
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. So what are you hoping audience will take away from the Queen Machine Symphonic Tour when they see it?
Well, you know what? I think again, after the couple of years we've had with no live entertainment, I'm hoping that, and I've seen it happen before when I've done various Queen celebrations, is that people just love the music. They love to come along. They love to kind of, forget about whatever else is going on in the world, have that kind of release, sing along with other people, and just enjoy it together. Obviously, Queen are out there doing their own tour this year, and I'm sure lots and lots of people are going to go and see them. But this is just another avenue to come along, celebrate with the music of Queen in a slightly different, unique way. And hopefully at a city near you. We're going all around the country, and it's a good show. It's a really good show, and the Queen Machine boys are fantastic. The orchestra is brilliant, and hopefully I can bring something to the table too.
What you do with everything you do, is like, especially over the last couple of years with your podcast and your book that you've done. what can people look forward to with those?
Yeah, so the book's still out. You can still get a signed copy on my website. It's all on Amazon and everything, but if you get it on my website, I'll sign it. The podcast, yeah, we're going to do a season 5, I think, while I'm out on tour.
Awesome.
I'm probably going to start recording in the next few weeks while I'm out on tour, because I love doing that. It was such a great thing over the lockdown, and people really enjoyed it. So I think I will definitely do another one of those. And also, I've got a new album coming out in September, signed to Westway Music. So we're well into this new album. So that will be out, September. So that's going to keep me pretty busy too.
What can we look forward to with the album?
So it's mainly original material, completely new writers. It's a lot of different writers. We've kind of I've got together with lots of different people, which I really like. It's got a different sound to it. It's kind of a bit kind of rock, country pop, which I'm really like. It's music that I would listen to, which was really important to me this time, because usually people are so used to hearing me sing the big belty numbers or the big kind of anthemic numbers, and for me, I wanted to make something that I would listen to. And I think this album really does that. I've got a new producer called Mike Stevens, who's fantastic. He does a lot of stuff with Take That and Gary Barlow, and he did a lot of work with Annie Lennox. And he's just bringing out a new sound of me, and that's just really exciting. So I can't wait for people to hear it.
Awesome. It's nice to be able to like change your style over the years and keep it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. It's for me, making music it's a privilege. It really is. But I think we were talking about how instant things are. You click your button and you listen to that song, or it goes. It's really quick. So for me, music has to be what you want to make, what makes you tick, not trying to please or predict what other people are going to listen to or what they're going to want. I think you just have to make what makes you happy, and then you can be contented with what goes out there.
Absolutely. And where can we find you online to keep up with everything you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm on social media. I do a bit of Instagram, which is just Kerry Ellis 79. I'm on all Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. And my website is quite up to date, just kerryellis.com. All my last album, the book, it's all on there. And I try and keep that up to date as I can.
Cool. And do you have a message for your fans out there?
Oh, just, it's just wonderful to be back out on the road, and I'm starting to see people, which is so lovely. At the show at the moment, just being in people's cities, getting to speak to people after the show. I love social media because I can keep in touch with people. You get that instant feedback, which I love. I'm quite fortunate that I get, there's lovely people on my Instagram, and it's lovely to hear from them. And I really appreciate that. And just keep in touch, keep coming to support, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic to speak to you today. I could speak to you literally for hours, but I know we've only got 20 minutes. So congratulations with everything you've done and continue to do, and I look forward to seeing your shows.
Cheers, Mark. Let me know when this all goes out, and
we'll do.
Repost and all that stuff. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. with the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels, it's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.